All right, so when I was a kid and I was teaching myself how to play guitar, one of the things that I always wanted to be able to play was You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC. Great song, right? Me and my buddies used to go to the local pizza place and we'd put that on the jukebox on repeat. We'd listen to that song so many times. And so that was one song that I was like, I have to play that. Only problem was, everything that I found on how to play it was wrong. And so I ended up playing it wrong for years and years. And so what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna save you some frustration and show you how to play this iconic song, You Shook Me All Night Long. Now, what we're not doing today is we're not doing the intro, which a lot of people get wrong as well. And we're not doing the chorus. What we are doing is we're gonna talk about the verse riff that gets played throughout the verses. This is actually the most difficult part of the song when it comes to the actual rhythm guitar part that you play. When I first learned this, the only thing that I found on how to play it was doing full open chords. Now the chords that it uses are G, C, and D, which are pretty common, right? And so in my completely ignorant young teenage brain, I was 13 or 14 at the time, I was playing it like this. I was playing a full G chord, and then switching to a full C, back to G, back to C, back to G, back to D. And to do that requires a ton of coordination, especially if you're using your first, second, and third fingers. So I would try to do it by going, but you can hear when I do that, there's a lot of open strings that don't get touched, so they don't get muted, and so they ring out, and it sounds sloppy. The other way that I thought about doing it, because that was hard. When I was first starting out doing it that way, even now, it's a struggle. I don't like doing it that way. So the workaround that I came up with was doing it with power chords and doing it like this. But still, that doesn't quite sound right, and it was still a lot of work, especially going from G to D like that in the second part. So how does AC/DC play it, and is there an easier way that we could play it? The answer to both of those is that, yeah, there's a totally easier way to do it, and AC/DC doesn't play it either of those ways. First, I'm going to show you how I think AC/DC is playing it, and then I'll show you what I do, because I think what I do is actually easier than what they're doing. So when AC/DC is playing it, from what I can tell, they're playing G, C, and D, but they're mainly using their second, third, and fourth fingers. So in the videos that I've seen of Angus Young playing this, it looks like his G chord is like this. And he's got his pinky on the second string on the third fret there, and then third finger on the sixth string, second finger on the fifth string. I can't get my fingers straight right now, right? And then when he switches to C, it's a really easy change to your first, second, and third fingers for C. And then to change to D, it's either using your second and third finger and doing the fifth string, the fourth string, the third string, and the second string. Leave the first string out. I don't hear that third in there. It's more a power chord. And so you get something like this. So that, from what I can tell, is how AC/DC is pretty much playing it. They're using their second, third, and fourth fingers to play that G chord to make it easier to switch to C, and then your D chord is partial as well. It's not a full D chord, you leave that first string out. Now that's cool and all, but I have an even easier way to play it, and I'm gonna save you some trouble here with this. So what I do when I play this, and I like this way, I know it's not maybe 100% accurate, but if I have to play this song a bunch and I play it with students, it's one of the things that I look for the laziest, easiest way to do things. And most guitar players do too. I mean, if you're looking for the hardest way to do things, what the heck is wrong with you? You know, I like to find what is the most efficient, easiest way to do it. So here's what I do. I do my third finger on the second string, third fret, and that pretty much stays there. And then for my G, I use my second finger on the third fret of my sixth string, and that's it. I don't use my first finger. I actually use my second finger to mute the fifth string, so I don't get any fifth string happening. And I also mute the first string, so there's no first string. So this ends up sounding like this. And then for my C chord, I just move my second finger over to my fifth string, and I mute the fourth string and the sixth string with my second finger, because I got fat fingers, right? If you need to wrap your thumb over to touch the sixth string, you can do that too. But my finger's fat enough that it just catches both strings, so it works, right? So for my C, I only have to move one finger. And then for D, I just put my first finger down on the third string, second fret, and I play all four middle strings. So my fifth string, fourth string, third string, second string, and I don't play the first string. And so to do that, it gives me a really simple way where for the most part, I'm moving one finger. And then when I switch from my second finger to my first finger, that happens at the same time. So when I switch from G to D there, I lift up my second finger from the G and I put down my first finger at the same time on the D chord. So you have to practice doing that at the same time, because you don't want to lift up that finger and then put the first finger down. That's going to make your change really slow. You have to do two things at once. You have to relax that second finger off of the G and put your first finger down for your D chord, so that that change is nice and smooth and super duper fast. Now, that's really handy for the second part too, where we're changing between G and D over and over. So that's how I do it. So if you've been wanting to learn You Shook Me All Night Long, or something that you've been playing, but maybe you've been playing it the hard way, I hope that that really helped you out and made it easier for you to play You Shook Me All Night Long and to get that difficult verse riff down. It's a part that not a lot of people talk about. Most people are talking about how the intro gets played wrong, but I hope that that helps you get that verse part right, because the verse is huge and it's a super cool riff. So now you don't have to play it wrong for years like I did. There's an easier, better way to do it, and I hope that was helpful for you. Now, if you want more good stuff like this, if you found this lesson helpful, let me know down in the comments. And then after you've done that, I've got another video for you to go check out. Go check out this video about how to play some different open chords. Rather than your standard open chords that everybody plays, I want to show you some easier chords that are like the ones that I use when I play this, and I'm going to show you that in this video over here. So thanks for watching, thanks for liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, all that fun stuff. You're awesome, and I will see you over in the next video about these new open chords.